from 5 Waiting Wombs, and today I'm going to talk about misconceptions and myths with infertility. Things that we do or things that we've heard that help us conceive or help increase our fertility. I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. I've got 10 different misconceptions or myths, and then after that I've got some interesting facts. Starting with number 1, cough syrup can help you conceive. This is something that I've seen a lot around the TTC community, and I have actually done research on this, and I can't find anything to prove it. There are different cough syrups like Mucinex that actually have something in them that loosen the mucus in your chest, and that it's the decongestant. It breaks all the mucus up and makes it thinner, and people are saying that it's supposed to help with your cervical mucus. Now, there aren't any proven cases. There was no research done on this to actually prove this. There are doctors that do tell you to take some, just simply because of the common, it's common knowledge that it's thinning your mucus, so surely it'll help thin your cervical mucus. Now, this isn't a proven fact, so it is still considered a myth. Number 2, certain sex positions increase your chances of conceiving. Yet again, there's no scientific evidence to prove that this is the case. There are doctors that will tell you that deeper penetration may increase your chances of conceiving, like doggy style or, deep penetration positions are supposed to get the penis closer to the cervix, therefore giving the sperm more of a chance to reach the egg before the sperm die. Like I said, there's no proven scientific evidence. They haven't done an actual study on it. It's just like a common thought thing. People think that this may work, but there's nothing proven about it. And I have never heard a doctor I've never had a doctor tell me that I needed to have sex a certain way to increase my chances. Number 3, you should have sex on day 14 of your cycle. Now, this is a huge, huge misconception because women are told, whenever you have that first sex talk, whenever you're in junior high or middle school or whatever, they tell you that women have a 28-day cycle. I think I was in the 5th grade when I had it. They tell you that you have a 28-day cycle, and, you shed your lining and everything, and it starts with an egg, and the egg comes from the follicle, and all this mumbo-jumbo, right? And they tell you that you ovulate on cycle day between 12 and 14 is usually what most sites and most people believe. And that's actually not the case at all. I have really long cycles. I may ovulate on cycle day 67. I may ovulate on cycle day 70. I may ovulate on cycle day 30. It's different every cycle for me. And my cycle is different every single time. So I may have a 15-day cycle, and then I may have a 100-day cycle. All women are different. All of our hormones are different, and every cycle is different. There's no normal cycle. There's an average cycle of around 28 to 32 days, I believe. But just because you have a 28-day cycle does not mean that you're going to ovulate on cycle day 14. That means that you may ovulate on cycle day 9, you may ovulate on cycle day whatever. It depends on your luteal phase, your hormones, and everything else in your body. It's specific to your body. So don't think that if you want a baby and you're trying to conceive that you need to have sex on cycle day 14, because that's not how it works. Your body is different. That's why tracking your fertility, tracking your cervical mucus, checking your cervix, checking your temperature, your basal body temperature, using OPKs and using charts, charting is so important because it'll help you pinpoint those days that are best for you to try to conceive. It'll increase your chances if you know exactly what's going on with your body, because your body is different from that normal female body that everyone talks about in middle school. You're different and you're yourself, so make sure you're tracking your own cycles. Number 4, infertility is not treatable or is too expensive to treat. This is definitely not the case. I never thought that I did think that I would struggle with infertility, but I didn't think about it for a long time. And infertility is such a big word to people. when people ask me and I tell them I'm infertile, I'm struggling with infertility, they think it's like a plague, like it's a disease that you can't get rid of. Now, some cases are more severe than others. I'm not going to be able to get rid of the fact that I am struggling with infertility. Some people may just have a simple problem as a hormone imbalance, removal of cysts, removal of fibroids. I mean, there are simple things that can help take away that factor that's creating your infertility. Now, there are some that you can't take away, but there are ways to treat it, whether, diet and exercise, hormone balances, medication, tracking your cycles, and using injections, and going to a doctor and having your blood drawn. And there are so many things that you can do to help treat your infertility. You may not be able to get rid of it. You may not be able to beat it. As sad as that sounds, as awful as it is, you may not be able to beat it. But there are so many cases out there of women who have beaten infertility. So if you are diagnosed with some sort of infertility, that doesn't mean you should give up, and that doesn't mean that you just need to let your dreams go of being a parent. Because infertility is something that we can beat and we will beat. So don't give up. And if you have any questions, you can call your doctor. You can ask us. We're not medical professionals, but we can give you as much advice as we can. And if you feel like you may be struggling with infertility, if you have gone a while and you've been trying to conceive and you just feel like something's wrong, go with your instincts. Make sure you call your doctor and you tell them exactly what you're feeling, because I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't have gone through as much as I've gone through if I would have had someone listen to me. Because for years I struggled with pain, and my cysts would pop or would rupture, and I had a lot of issues. And I would tell doctors and doctors and doctors and doctors, and nobody cared. And just make sure that you're taking care of yourself, and that if you feel like you may be struggling with infertility, you see a doctor and you talk to somebody about it. Because the sooner you talk to somebody, the easier it is to treat. In some cases, not in all cases. But it is definitely something that you can work with a doctor to take care of. Numbers 5. A doctor won't see you until after you failed to conceive for a year. This is definitely a myth. I've never talked to a doctor that wouldn't see a person because they haven't been trying for a year yet. This is something that I was told, actually, whenever we were trying to conceive and we were talking about seeing a specialist and everything. This is something that people have told me. I think different doctors may say, oh, well, how long have you been trying? We'll keep on trying for a couple months. But I really don't think that most doctors would turn you down if you've been trying to conceive for 6 months or 5 months or 8 months. If you feel like something is wrong, if you feel like you've been trying and nothing is working out for you, I'm sure you can find a doctor that will help you. And if you call a doctor and they're like, no, I'll wait for a couple more months, screw them. Go find you another doctor, because there are people out there that will help you. I will tell you right now, I've been through so many doctors that are like, oh, it's not a big deal. Let me tell you right now, make sure you tell them exactly what you're feeling. If they're not willing to help you, go to somebody else, because there will be another doctor who will help you and who will listen. Number 6, only women have fertility problems. This is not true at all. 40% of infertility is linked to male issues, 40% of infertility is linked to female issues, and 20% is linked to combo issues. So that's definitely a misconception. Number 7, acupuncture isn't safe during IVF cycles or pregnancy. This is definitely false. During IVF and pregnancy, it is actually really safe for acupuncture. These people are professionals. They know exactly what they're doing. They will make sure they treat you as if you are pregnant if you're going through IVF. It'll help with your side effects. It'll help with bloating, constipation, diarrhea, heartburn, all kinds of things. Number 8, IVF and Clomid will lead to multiple births. Now, this is a misconception because IVF and Clomid do increase your chances, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to end up with 8 kids. Doctors usually pick, the lowest amount of, they transfer the lowest amount of eggs as possible, or embryos as possible, so they don't risk that, 8-person birth. They want to make sure that they meet their goal of pregnancy, but they're not, going above and beyond, like Octomom. That's just crazy. And most people, I think they kind of talk to you about how many you'd like to transfer, and they're not going to transfer an ungodly amount of embryos. And with Clomid, that's definitely not the case either. It can increase your chances, and I don't think there are a whole lot of studies on it, but there are some cases where there have been triplets or twin births with Clomid, but it's not a really big common thing. Number 9, infertility is rare. Infertility is a very common thing, actually. Before I was diagnosed with infertility, PCOS, I thought it was rare too. Like I said, it's something that people don't normally think about. According to the Centers for Disease Control, more than 6.1 million people of reproductive age experience some sort of infertility. That's 10 to 15% of people, of reproductive age. That is definitely not rare. It's not as common as some diseases, but it's not rare. And I know with infertility and struggling to conceive, you feel like you're alone, and that number definitely makes me feel like I'm not alone. It makes me want to reach out to more people, because I'm sure there are tons of people out there who don't know about, these channels, just don't know about all these wonderful people in the Trying to Conceive community. So we need to reach out and spread infertility awareness. Number 10, if you have a period, you will get pregnant. Definitely not true. Just because you have a period does not mean that you will ovulate. There are so many different factors in trying to conceive. Your egg quality, timing, you have to make sure you're timing your sexual intercourse, sperm health, sperm count. There are just so many different factors to conceiving. And just having a period does not mean that you're going to ovulate. That's the biggest one. You may have what they call a fallout period. What doesn't mean you ovulated, it just means that you're shedding your lining. There are women who have regular cycles, 30, 35-day cycles, but they aren't ovulating. They're just shedding their lining. So you may need help with inducing ovulation. Okay, so these are the cool ones. Sorry, I've got my notes here. Ancient fertility rituals. One that I found really interesting, consuming tiny chips of rubies or grinding them down into powder and drinking them in water. That was something in ancient Rome, I believe, that they used to do. Another place used to drink circumcision water. They would circumcise the infant over a bowl of water, and then the women who were barren would drink the water after the circumcision. Eating the placenta is something in ancient Chinese medicine that people used to do. They used to think that it would increase energy and brain power and stuff like that. And there are people who actually have their placenta capsulized, I believe is the word, and they eat it, and it's supposed to help with milk production and healing and stuff after birth. Another Japanese ritual, there's a fertility festival of, probably not going to say this right, Haunen Matsuri. They sees the town people parading through the streets holding a giant wooden penis. Yep. That is said to increase the residents' fertility. So those are some cool little things. It's amazing what people used to do to try to conceive. I mean, there were people who were just as distraught as we are. Of course, they didn't have the technology and the healthcare that we do now. So could you imagine carrying around a huge penis around your town to try to make yourself fertile? I couldn't imagine that. It's interesting. So if you guys have some myths or misconceptions that you guys have heard or people have told you, go ahead and just stick them down there. I want to hear some more because I've been told a whole lot. I could sit and talk for 20 minutes about this. So just let me know some of the common misconceptions that people, they try to give you advice, things that you've been told to do that is just straight up bull. Just put it down below, and if you guys have any questions, go ahead and just comment, send me a message, and I will gladly answer any of your questions and help you guys in any way that I can. Anyway, so make sure you go up there. If you're on your computer, go up there and click that subscribe button, I believe, or down there. If you're on your phone, go ahead and go down there and click subscribe and give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment or a video response. If you have some things that you want to talk about, common misconceptions, myths, whatever, go ahead and just make us a video response. We love to hear from you guys, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great week. Bye!